by the start of 2020, I think I had 2,000 subscribers. So it took me almost 2 years to gain an additional 1,000 subscribers.
Wow.
And then from the start of 2020 until now, which is February 2021, that's when I went from 2,000 to like 290,000. So it's really that like I hit that like little tipping point that I feel like a lot of people sadly miss out on because they don't keep at it for enough time.
I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check, no drip this, wet. Tell them run it up, no sleep, no rest, might crash, might wreck, but first.
How's it going, Charlie?
Hey, I'm good. How about you?
Pretty good. It's great to finally have you on the show. Here with Kenny, of course, as always.
What is up, guys? We're super stoked to have you, Charlie.
Yeah, super stoked to be on the show too.
Absolutely. Cool. So Charlie, real estate broker, 290,000 plus people on YouTube, 350 plus thousand people on TikTok. How did you get started in your business, man? Like, what's the story?
Yeah, so I got started in like entrepreneurship and business after I graduated college. I was originally pre-med, so I was planning on becoming a doctor, just like my Asian parents wanted me to do. Unfortunately, I didn't get into med school, and which now looking back on it was a good thing. So I started working for myself, just doing a lot of random side hustles. That's why I'm so big on side hustles today, and just slowly building different income streams, testing things out, and eventually I just landed where I am right now with, just doing a bunch of different things.
Nice. That's awesome. So what was like the first business you started when you were when you first started your side hustles?
So I'd say my first real side hustle was photography, and that's what really kept me afloat after college. I've been doing photography since I was maybe like 13 years old. So throughout college, I was doing shoots for people, making a little bit of money. But after college, that's when I was like, I didn't have a job or anything. So I had to really focus on that and make money through photography.
Sweet. Nice. No, that's awesome. So when it came to basically where you're at now, kind of how the business is set up, how's it operating, kind of what's the lay of the land?
So, wait, are you talking about photography or my other stuff?
Your other stuff.
Okay. So right now, most of my energy is actually invested in making content. So I'd say I'm almost like a full-time content creator right now. A good portion of my day is thinking about things to like video topics to make, writing scripts, filming, editing, all that stuff. And I'd say when I do have active real estate deals or mortgage deals, I spend some time on that too. But day to day, most of my energy is spent making content.
Nice.
Sweet. Nice.
So I kind of want to go back a little bit too, because obviously there is like transition periods, right, between like the photography part and then what came after the photography. What did you kind of transition to or add to in terms of like your income stream?
Yeah. So after college, I was doing photography. I was also tutoring, just like tutoring kids that lived near me. I was doing print modeling since I lived in LA. So it was a very LA lifestyle. I'm trying to think what else I did. I'm sure. Oh, I started doing e-commerce. I started a clothing brand. And yeah, I kept adding different things. I'm the type of person that can't really focus on one thing, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I just sort of made it work.
But basically you're like experimenting throughout the whole time, just like seeing what stuck and what didn't.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice. That's good. So like after photography, after doing all those, gigs, what was kind of like the next thing that you're like, all right, this is like good for a long period of time. I'm going to stick to this a little bit more. It's working. What was that?
I think real estate was the thing I started doing where I was like, okay, I can actually do this for, quite some time. And then during this whole time, you know, I felt pretty lost. I didn't really know what to do. And I started learning more about making money in non-traditional ways, personal finance, all this stuff. And I was like, we should be learning more about this in school, in high school, in college. How come I didn't learn about all this stuff? And I just grew really passionate about sharing my experiences and whatever knowledge I had with other people. And that's when I started to make more and more content on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok.
Nice.
Interesting. So it was more or less the void of, okay, I went to school, didn't want to do the pre-med type stuff, started this entrepreneurship. Then you kind of get exposed to this world where it's like, damn, I wish I would have knew this information. I got to get this out to the people more or less.
Yeah, 100%. There's like, it's such an exciting like time we live in where you can start a business with your laptop.
Incredible.
There's so many different crazy, like creative ways to make a living that are completely different from like a 9-to-5 job.
Right.
And I mean, a 9-to-5 job is really great for a lot of people, but I think for people that, you know, always feel like they're stuck in that lifestyle or they want to explore and do their own thing. Like, I just want people to know that you can totally do that because I was in the exact same position.
Yeah.
Did you ever have like a traditional 9-to-5 job before then?
So I worked for a mortgage company for about 2 months, one summer during college, and I hated it. And that's the only time I've worked for I had like a boss. Yeah.
Fast learner.
At least you got the experience, so you kind of like
Yeah.
knew what you were getting into, you know?
Yeah, I got to experience the 9-to-5 lifestyle, and it definitely was not for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So with so when you started doing YouTube, so it was more or less you had this thought like, okay, I got to get this information out to the people. So bring me back to like that first YouTube video. What was the first YouTube video that you dropped? Was it a successful one? What was that thing where you're like, damn, I'm starting to see some type of success. Let me really go all in.
Yeah. So I actually started my YouTube channel, I think in like 2008. It used to be a music cover channel. So my sister would sing and I would play like piano and guitar and stuff.
Nice.
In 2018, I believe, is when I transitioned it to a personal finance channel. I don't really remember my first videos, but I just know that they were not good at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm super like timid and not like a talker type of person.
Cool.
So it was pretty uncomfortable for me to start with that. But yeah, over just making more and more videos, it got more and more comfortable. And I think I got a bit better. I'm not the best talker, like by any means, but
you're pretty good, Charlie. You're pretty good.
I mean, you can't tell like now.
You could tell.
You're like a pro on YouTube now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Whenever I tell people, like, whenever you have some type of thing that you want to work on, just throw yourself into it and learn from it. So, yeah, I used to hate public speaking. I used to hate being on camera, and now I'm okay with it, I'd say.
Yeah, 100%. I always tell people, man, it's like the thing that you fear the most is the thing that's going to take you to that next level.
Yeah.
Look at that fear right in the eyes, you know. It's either you're going to back down or you're going to figure it out, you know. And it's those transitionary periods is where you really hit greatness.
Yeah, if more people did that, like, we would see so much more cool stuff, like, in the world, I think.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
When you started, like, YouTube, because just coming from the perspective of someone that's just starting out and, you know, they have a few videos out there, maybe they kind of know what they want to do. Like, what kind of helped you keep posting consistently over time? Because obviously it's easy to get discouraged when you're not seeing the views or the likes and things like that. But like, what kind of helped you during that time?
So I think just being really passionate about what type of content I was putting out, like my whole message with you guys can make money in non-traditional ways, like personal finance, I was super interested with it. So first thing is like having a real big passion for what you're talking about. And then second is like going in with the expectation that you're probably not going to gain traction for a while. And that's just sort of the whole game with it. I think most YouTube channels fail, not because they're putting out bad info or bad videos, but because they're just not staying consistent with it. And it can take, years. Like, for example, it took me, when I first started making personal finance content, I had 1,000 subscribers from my music channel. So like those people didn't care about personal finance at all. And it took me 10 years to build up those 1,000 subscribers. And then by the start of 2020, I think I had 2,000 subscribers. So it took me almost 2 years to gain an additional 1,000 subscribers.
Wow.
And then from the start of 2020 until now, which is February 2021, that's when I went from 2,000 to 290,000. So it's really that I hit that little tipping point that I feel like a lot of people sadly miss out on because they don't keep at it for enough time.
Right.
Right. Absolutely. So going from 2,000 to 200 plus thousand subscribers, that's a massive jump. So what kind of went into having that massive explosion? What did you change up your strategy, content? What kind of went into that?
So I think one of the big things was I started making content about trending topics. I got a lot of my initial growth from, actually I got a lot of my initial growth from TikTok, but we can talk about that later. But as far as YouTube, yes, I started making stuff about the stimulus plan. I think in April, I made almost one video every single day about stuff like that. Because that stuff is very, very trending. Huge. And then I started more stock stuff, investing stuff, which was very trending. And just, I think a lot of my content has been, I got lucky. I got extremely lucky because a lot of my content is just trending now because people are trying to look for other ways to make money, right? During the pandemic, during the shutdowns. So yeah, a lot of luck is I'm very lucky.
Yeah.
I say.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't have got to this point unless you were consistent with it.
100%.
And it just so happened okay, now it's a great time. 2020 was a great time. I mean, it still is now for finance and things like that. Yeah. It always is going to be, especially with that information. You were just consistent.
Yeah.
What made your channel be successful and where it is today, Yeah. So that's good.
I was in a good position to take advantage of that growth in personal finance content and making money and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. Cause I mean, especially for the pandemic, I know a lot of digital people absolutely crushed it during that time. And there was just this mindset, you could either gave up or you could double down. The people that really doubled down, I mean, it changed their whole entire lives.
Yeah, and Kenny, I know you crushed it, right, in the last year. So yeah, I see a lot of people that are doing really, really well. It's awesome. Awesome to see.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So when it comes to your YouTube, what are some of your favorite videos to create? Do you like the investing side? Do you like the side hustle side? What's really the thing that kind of turns you on with your YouTube when it comes to content creation?
Yeah. So I'd say a good portion of my views come from investing. And I am a big fan of investing because I feel like a lot of people don't do that. And it's great for building long-term wealth, especially if you're just doing long-term investing strategy, Roth IRA, retirement accounts, all these really cool ways to let your money work for you. I think I'm most passionate about these side hustles and teaching people to make money in non-traditional ways. So my videos about how to make money with, let's say, Amazon FBA, or how to get your real estate license, or even my videos where I'm talking about my own multiple sources of income. People seem to really get inspired by that. So yeah, I think those are my favorite types of videos.
Nice. Yeah, that's even more important nowadays because I forgot what article it was, but it said by 2025 or something like 50% of the workforce is going to be like freelance, or they're going to have some sort of like side hustle in addition to their 9 to 5. So it's like you kind of need to know something in the digital space.
Yeah, I can totally see that being the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when it comes to finance and investing, because I know 2020 has been like it's been a big year because more people have been getting into the market
Mhm.
and how easy it is, especially like with Robinhood and things like that. But for someone who is just a beginner and wants to invest, what is your advice to them?
So I think the first account I would make is a Roth IRA. Like, man, the advantages of a Roth IRA are just insane.
Okay.
So, and for beginners, they're probably not making as much money right now as they will in future years. So your tax bracket is lower. You want to pay the taxes now and have it in a Roth IRA. And for anyone that doesn't know what a Roth IRA is, it's basically a retirement account where you put post-tax money in, so money that you have already paid taxes on, and that money grows tax-free. You don't pay any taxes on any of the gains. People even use a Roth IRA as an account for like day trading or swing trading because,
Right.
yeah, and they hold their speculative investments in there because if they grow a lot, then you could save a lot of money by not having to pay taxes.
Mm. Oh,
So that's probably what I would start off with. Invest in some index funds like Vanguard's VOO, like S&P 500 index funds. And then what else besides that? Yeah, if you want to open up an account with like Robinhood or Webull, and
We're waiting for the Robinhood.
then yeah, I mean it's fun because it forces you to start learning about how to look at stocks, how to look at companies, like their balance sheets, all that stuff. And I always tell people like the markets right now are a little bit crazy, and this isn't how the market has been before. So just be careful, especially if you're buying a lot of speculative things, and still prioritize long-term investments in solid companies.
Absolutely.
Nice. What is like for you specifically? How are you allocated in terms of like your investments?
Ooh, that's hard. So I have a good chunk in crypto actually, which I know is very speculative.
There you go.
But for my investments, I'd say, well, I don't know the breakdown actually, but a lot of my money is in index funds, and those are in my Roth. And I do have individual companies that I invest in, but yeah, I try and do long-term investing because if I have to focus on what I'm trading each and every day, then that's like my job, and I can't make money in other ways, or it's just harder.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what is your I'm interested, what was your take on the GameStop whole situation? Because there was this one article, I think it was like in the, I don't know if it was the New York Times or Times Magazine. I was telling Kenny this, and it was highlighting this one guy who, like, for the longest time, he was good. He was just doing like dollar cost averaging, just index fund type investing, and just letting it sit. And then when the whole GameStop situation came on, he kind of got caught in it, took out a loan, went full YOLO on GameStop when it was at 200 or 300.
Oh, no.
And then now he's like in debt because
Yeah.
it just went down to like, I think it's like a 50 now or something.
Man.
Like what do you think about that whole situation? Because like beginner investors can get the wrong idea with that whole situation, you know?
Yeah, it is dangerous. I mean, I thought that was a really cool movement. And it was cool to be able to see retail investors sort of like come together and, you know, ruin some hedge funds. And it sort of shows like how it's sort of rigged. And, you know, these huge hedge funds like are doing all these things that could be a little bit sketch. But the big thing is like, yes, you can make a lot of money really fast with these these stocks, but you can also lose a lot of money too. So
Yeah.
it's just a little scary. I mean,
Yeah.
I lost some money too. I bought some AMC, but
Got it.
Oh, you did.
but
you didn't
I'm
put your whole life savings
At
in
least
it.
try, you know.
no, I think I threw like $3,000 into AMC.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, then that's not bad. I mean, it's because like, you know, some people just pull in their whole life savings, college funds or whatever, and then that's it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they could make off with some money, but they could also lose big chunks. So that's dangerous.
Right.
I would not do that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. So like right now, I know you like talking about side hustles and different ways to like non-traditional ways to make income. Like for you now, what are like those main things for you?
Right now, most of my um, income actually comes from YouTube. And the cool thing with YouTube is that it's not just one source of income. Like if you have a YouTube audience, you can create many different sources of income from that.
Yeah.
So we're talking like one, YouTube AdSense. That's like the most direct way to make money from YouTube. That's just advertisers paying YouTube to put ads on your videos, and then you get 55% of that. There's also affiliates, so you can drop links to different affiliate programs, make targeted content, and people will click on those links, and you get a small commission when they purchase it. And then also like brand deals and sponsorships, making money when you put like a 60-second integration into the middle of your video.
Nice.
That way, yeah, different ways that you can monetize your videos. And perhaps the biggest one, which I haven't been doing too well at, but that is having your own product or service and using YouTube to sell that.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So with your YouTube channel right now, with the revenue streams, what type of brands do you like to work with when it comes to like that mid-roll advertisement, different things like that?
So for my integrations, I find that stock brokerages tend to pay pretty well.
Nice. There you go.
Especially if they're venture backed and they have like big marketing dollars, then
Nice.
you can easily make like multiple 5 figures from one integration.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, all the companies I work with, I've either used their product or they're like a good company. Like you can't do those things for sketchy companies. And I probably get 10 to 30 emails per day from different companies wanting to do them, but you just have to be selective.
Got it. So would you say that's your biggest revenue source? Is it the AdSense, or is it mostly the integrations that you do with different brands?
I think it's about the same now. Depends on the month if I have any like really big sponsorship deals. I think next month I should make more money from sponsorships than AdSense. But in January I made more on AdSense than sponsorships. So
got it. Okay, cool. And those people, they'll usually like reach out to you because of your big audience and different things like that. And that's kind of how you acquire the deals. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, that's a really good deal.
And okay,
that's cool.
I'll let you guys in on a secret thing that I do, which I found works well. If I'm making a video and I know I'm going to talk about some type of company in it, sometimes I will reach out to that company and be like, hey, are you guys down to sponsor this video or like pay me some amount of money if I include you in this video? Even though I was going to include them in the video anyways, right?
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes that works.
Yeah.
And they pay you like a lot of money for something that you would have already put.
I was just literally thinking the same thing. I'm like, so you could probably just reach out to these people and say something, you know, but oh yeah, man, you could drum it up. That's awesome. That's
you can be very proactive with your sponsorships, and sponsorships, it's like, it's a category where you could either make $0 if you don't care about it, or you can make a lot of money depending on how much effort you put in and how smart you are with like reaching out and being crafty like that.
Got it. So for a person, let's say, what would you say would be the size of an audience for a person to really start seeing revenue from YouTube, whether AdSense or to start getting brand deals? What's kind of that level where you can kind of start peeking your head above the water and start trying to figure out the revenue streams?
Yeah, I would start to, so at the very start, I just focus on making great content. After maybe 5 or 10,000 subscribers,
Okay.
that's when I would start to, think about my various ways of that I can monetize the channel. So affiliates, reaching out to companies, maybe doing some collaborations. Yeah, say 5 to 10,000, but it really depends. Yeah.
Got it. Cool.
Nice. So for you, running your business, obviously there's going to be some challenges and things like that. How have you kind of set up your mindset so that you're able to kind of face those things, or like, how have you built up your mindset? Do you have any like mindset tips, or what do you do on a daily basis in terms of routine that like kind of helps you set yourself up for success?
Yeah.
So working for myself, I feel like it's quite difficult to hold myself accountable sometimes. And I think a lot of like solo entrepreneurs will struggle with that. Not having to report to someone, so then you can put things off indefinitely.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no real consequence besides what you're missing out on. So it doesn't seem like you're, being negatively affected in the moment. So I think time blocking has been very helpful for me. It's where I will plan out my day either the night before or in the morning and sort of set these blocks of time where I need to focus on one thing or another thing. That way you are choosing what you're working on instead of reacting to different things, and that increases my productivity a lot.
That's
Oh,
nice.
okay. Do you have
That's
like a morning routine? Do you do anything like in the morning right when you wake up?
Yeah. So I read The Miracle Morning maybe like a year and a half ago, actually almost 2 years ago. And that completely like changed my whole morning routine and life pretty much. So definitely recommend checking that book out. But from that book, I used it to create my own morning routine, which normally starts, I'd say 5:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. I drink water. I meditate. I write things down, like what I'm grateful for, my visualizations for the day, stuff like that. And then I also read every single morning, and that has just been like super instrumental in
nice.
It's giving me more information about the world and looking for opportunities to either make money or just have a better life.
Nice.
What do you usually read?
Most of my books I read are like nonfiction books, so business books, self-improvement books, stuff like that.
Any ones like in particular that, like, if you were to read this like for the rest of your life over and over again, do you have any like top 3 or
top 3,
top 1 or 2?
Yeah. Okay. So The Compound Effect and The Slight Edge, those are 2 books, both about like exponential growth and like lots of small like gains each day result in huge changes. So I definitely recommend those. The Miracle Morning, like I said, was a great one for me because I knew I needed something to really tell me to wake up early, and that's what did it. Tax-Free Wealth, that was a great one where I just learned about the power of like taxes and how you can make taxes your profit center. A lot of books like that. Yeah. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's a great one.
Yeah. Classics.
Yeah. All these books, like I think books are like the best ROI, return on investment for pretty much anyone. The amount of value you get per book for $10 to $20 is just insane.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's like having like your own like mini mentor in a way.
Yeah.
Like you're able to connect with them without actually being there in person.
Yeah.
Which I don't think a lot of people think about, but it is,
Yeah, no, it really is. Like they're spending, I don't know, however, hours and hours writing that book, and you get to read it for $10 to $20. It's like amazing.
It's like a steal. It's like, it's like why
It really
not?
is, when you think about it like that, really is.
Yeah,
It's almost unfair.
I know, right? And especially now, since a lot of things you can just like listen to it while you're driving or whatever. It's just, you can just consume so many books in such
Yeah.
a short period of time. It's
Yeah.
crazy. There's like no reason not to,
Yeah, for people that listen to a lot of music on like during workouts or driving, like try listening to Audible or podcasts. It's just such a great way to learn, like throughout the day.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Who are like some top three, let's say like business like to follow, whether listening to their podcast or just people you like to keep up that are just crushing in your eyes?
Sorry, I think it cut out for a sec. Could you ask that one more time?
So when it comes to like influencers that you're listening to via podcast or just people you follow on Instagram or just people that you look up to business wise, what would you say your top three people are right now?
Ooh, tough question. Okay. I watch a lot of people.
Uh-huh.
I watch a lot of YouTubers just to get inspiration from them, see what they're making. Ooh. So I have a story about an influencer that I still follow him, but he's the reason why I got my car. This guy named Albert Preciado.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was always talking about how he used his Ferraris and like sports cars to get attention and sort of like build his business. So after following him for like months and months, like I sort of got the idea in my head. And I think that's sort of what's helped me take the chance and get my car and sort of know that I could use it for marketing and building up my own personal brand. So that was, I always tell people like, if you want to like following people that you want to be like on social media can actually be really powerful because they post stories. It's sort of like getting a behind the scenes of their life. And I know Instagram is very like people pick what they post and stuff,
Right.
but you can still get a lot of good information on there. And then, yeah, I just follow a bunch of other different YouTubers and yeah.
Nice. What would you what would you say, because obviously we're all in this social media world as entrepreneurs and people who are really crushing it. What would you say would be your three biggest misconceptions out there when it comes to entrepreneurship? Like entrepreneurs say this, but it's a misconception. Like don't sleep, work for 24 hours. Like what are some of those big misconceptions that you used to listen to that's like complete bullshit now?
Okay, well, I think one thing that is sort of bad for entrepreneurs is they get the thing that like they get this idea that entrepreneurship is hustle 24/7, like like work. And while that's all good, I don't think that's what every entrepreneur needs to do. I mean, ultimately, the goal with entrepreneurship is to build a business that runs by itself or something like that and be able to sort of have time for yourself. So I'd say entrepreneurship is not just about money. It's more about your freedom of time and freedom of like you choosing what you want to do. That's the number one thing about entrepreneurship for me, at least.
Yep.
As far as other things, ooh.
We can get a little raunchy with this.
There's so many misconceptions.
I think people underestimate the importance of just giving value. And in entrepreneurship, I don't like to think of it as competing with everyone. Instead, I like to think of it as helping other people in what they're doing. So that's why I'm so big on just, giving out information because when you get messages from people saying like, you inspired me to like start a side hustle and it's making me like $5,000 a month, or you got me into investing, you got me into thinking that maybe college is not the best thing for me, then it's like that stuff is what really makes me happy to be doing what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm not saying college is bad, but for some people, probably not the best. The only way.
Kenny and I were talking about that too a while ago, and we were saying like, because we both majored in business in college, and like looking back at it now, like the pros of college was that making all the connections and stuff like that, like the relationship base and like all the experiences. But in terms of like the business major, it's so far back and behind and like what the times are now in terms of like marketing, business and stuff. It's like it's very corporate based in terms of like their teachings. And I mean, unless you're going to be like a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, where you kind of need to go to college and learn that, it's like, you know, it depends on the person.
Yeah.
And if you want that structure or if you like that structure in terms of learning or not. So yeah, I know it's a big question a lot of people have nowadays, you know?
Yeah. And for people that do go to college, like just don't make the same mistake I did where I didn't really like use it to network that much. College, like you should be networking all the time and building those relationships.
100%.
Yeah.
Make it worthwhile.
Yep.
So during the pandemic, did you like back in February, like once things were starting to like pick up and the market was down and things like that, obviously we all had like a lot more time with all the lockdowns and whatnot. So for you specifically, what did you do anything or like do anything new to or learn any new skills to better yourself during that time? Like what did you start to do?
Well, during that time, I think I started really realizing how impactful social media and YouTube were like as platforms. And I was like, okay, these platforms are going to grow so much. There's so much potential in them. So I was at home all the time and I just started creating a ton of content. So yeah, April, I made like probably 25 videos that month.
That's a perfect time to do that.
Perfect.
Guys, that's not even that. Okay. So whenever I think to that, I'm like, dang, how do I do that? But then you have people like Meet Kevin.
Like 5 videos a day, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Dude was making like, you know, $10,000 to $20,000 per day on YouTube AdSense. Like,
wow.
So there's always people that work a lot harder than you.
Yeah, I mean it's always good to kind of get that in check. Like, you know, all right, there's always going to be that one person that's working harder than you. So, but that's okay. I mean, you just kind of gotta focus and stay in your lane and what you like, what you're good at. Because if for some people, if you're to do that like every day, 5 videos a day, maybe for him he's okay with doing that. But for most people, they're just going to get burnt out. They're like, what am I doing? You know.
Yeah, and you have to be happy with your progress. You know?
True. 100%.
True.
Otherwise, you won't stay consistent. So you need a good balance of pressure as well as being happy with what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%. 100%. So Charlie, I know you've been crushing it on TikTok. So what would be some tips that you would give a person if they're just starting out on how to grow their audience on TikTok?
Yeah. So TikTok. By the way, I think TikTok. If I were starting to make content today, I would invest most of my time to make TikToks instead of YouTube videos. I just think the return on your investment for time for TikTok is much, much better. And then basically like the whole funnel is you make TikToks, you build an audience on there, you build authority on there, and then you start making YouTube videos, and then you slowly get people from TikTok over to your YouTube channel. I have multiple friends that have done that and done it extremely well. Because the number of eyes you get on TikTok is amazing. You can make viral content in like 10 to 15 minutes. Whereas like a YouTube video will take you like, I don't know, 3 to 8 hours to make, right? So the amount of time per view you get is much better on TikTok. But let's see. Okay, as far as tips for TikTok, for me, what's worked best is the first frame. I like to have some type of text that is an impactful statement that makes people want to watch. Because if people just see the first frame and they're not intrigued by it, or they don't want to continue watching, then your watch time is going to be low and it's not going to hit the For You page and it won't go viral. Like no chance. So always putting some impactful statement at the very starts, and then being very, very like concise with the content. I remember one of the first videos I put on TikTok. It was like a minute long of me just teaching something on a whiteboard, and that just like does not work on TikTok, at least for me. The ones that I've done well are between 10 to 20 seconds probably, and it's just like very fast paced information.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
And having the car helps.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Hey, it's TikTok, like you see like aspects of marketing in there. You kind of have to be like a good marketer on TikTok, you know, whatever catches the eye.
Yeah.
For them to like just watch it all the way through, you know.
Yeah. But you can't give that much value on TikTok because it's so short, right? So at least for me, it's like I try and throw those flashy things in to get people to, you know, follow and then check out my YouTube where I actually put like more in-depth information. Yeah.
It's kind of like you know, like in the early Vine days when it was just so easy to get views on like your Vines, and then eventually, obviously, you know, we all know what happened to Vine. It's dead now, but but then the creators on Vine, they had their audience go to Instagram, and then from Instagram to like YouTube, and then now they're like doing pretty well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the same concept. Yeah, it's just kind of like funneling them through. It's like TikTok is like, hey, nice to meet you. This is me. And then like with your YouTube channel, you're able to go more in depth and explaining and things like that.
And that's where people really connect with you, I think, on YouTube. That's why it's so powerful. Because TikTok, it's like all these short videos. A lot of the time you're not talking. But once someone watches you for like 10 minutes talking on YouTube, that's when they really start to form that bond and they trust you. And
yeah, that makes sense. So like on TikTok, like let's say someone's just starting TikTok and they say, oh, it's a bunch of dancing people on there. They're just dancing to the same songs over and over again. Like what has kind of helped you separate yourself or find that engagement from the start?
Yeah, so I just started off with giving value. So I was all about putting out content where I was actually like teaching something or like inspiring in some way. Because I can't dance, so that was out of the question. But there's always like for any new platform, there's always going to be niches in there where you can grow big. And TikTok is not just people dancing. There's like stock TikTok, so investing TikTok. There's like entrepreneurship. There's like real estate. Whole bunch of cool things in there.
Yeah, it's interesting how like the teaching aspect on TikTok is still like a really big part of it. Like sometimes a lot of people just go there just to like learn stuff, you know, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
The algorithm is pretty good too in terms of kind of keeping you with what your interests are.
Yeah, it is. It is good.
So that's
good.
That's a plus.
It's really good for new creators too, because the amount of subscribers or followers you have on TikTok doesn't matter too much. Like I can still put out a video that flops. It's more about like how good that singular video is.
Yeah, that's true. It's like sometimes a video that you post like a week ago or something could get traction later on. Like, I don't know, like that happened to me once. Like I put one out and it was probably like 2 weeks later, and then I was seeing traction on it. It's like, what, I don't know how this is happening, but I mean, it's a plus. So that's why it's always good to kind of like you said, like that consistency aspect of it. I mean, you just never know, like it just takes one to hit, and you know, that's all you really need. So
yeah, I'd say it's like the 80-20 rule, right? Like 80% of your views will probably come from 20% of your videos.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
You gotta get those bangers.
Yeah, gotta throw some bangers.
Yeah. It'll probably be a video that like you don't expect to do well, and it just happens to do well. So
that's usually what happens. It's like the one you don't expect will do well does really well.
Right. Yeah. And the one you spend like 2 hours making doesn't do well.
Right?
I know. That's so annoying.
Charlie, do you know who the Nelk Boys are?
I've heard of them, but I haven't really seen their content.
Oh man, they're crushing it on YouTube right now.
You watching them, Kenny?
Oh, I love the Nelk Boys. I mean, the videos that they're making, I mean, they're they're making like sitcom, like reality TV show videos. Like you tune in every single week to watch them. And they have like a really good clothing brand now that they're pushing, you know, crazy amount of weight. And they're just crushing it on YouTube. Absolutely crushing it. But somebody to definitely check out for sure.
Yeah, I'll check them out.
Yeah, they're like creating into actual business now, because like I remember watching them a couple years back. I think it was like 2017, and they were just all pranks. Like I mean, they still do pranks and stuff, but like now they actually have a clothing line, and they have a bunch of different stuff, and it's like what's that show called? The one with like Bam Margera. You know.
Badass or Jackass.
Jackass.
Yeah, it's like
kind of like that.
Yeah.
In a way. A little bit.
Yeah, like a little bit cooler, kind of. Yeah.
Less crazy stunts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like, Mr. Beast too, with his burger. Like, you can turn YouTube into, it's basically free marketing for any business you start.
It is, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Mr. Beast, he really turned it into a business. It's crazy. Like, it makes sense though. Like, if you just look at the amount of money he puts in, he just invests it back, and he makes it back too with all the sponsorships and things like that and ad rev. But there's different ways to play the game. So, but yeah.
Yep.
That's cool.
That's awesome. Well, Charlie, we appreciate you, man. Is there anything else you would let our audience, or you want our audience to know about you, or anything like that? Anything you got going on?
Not too much. I guess if they want to learn about YouTube, I do have a little course teaching people how to make a profitable YouTube channel. But besides that, like, just know that there's a lot of cool ways to make money. You don't need to work 9 to 5. You don't need to go the whole traditional route. And the more opportunities you sort of open your brain to, the more opportunity you'll have to find something that works for you. And just don't be afraid to experiment, try different things, and because you'll find something that you resonate really well with and that works really well for you.
Beautiful. Love it. And Charlie, where can they find you?
So you can find me on YouTube. My YouTube channel is just Charlie Chang, my name. And then also on Instagram, it's Charlie__Chang. Same on TikTok.
Cool. Yeah, we'll put your links down below in the description, so
awesome.
People can find you.
Cool.
Well, thanks again. I appreciate it. I mean, we appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time to be on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, I wish you all the best, man.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Charlie.
Thank you.